Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversation. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
Hello, hello, hello. I have a question for you. Have you ever felt completely lost? You know, seeking purposeful direction that could and should propel your mission within your divine journey to that next level, but still it hasn't happened. Well, my name is Lauren Michaels Harris, and I'm the founder of P3, the Journey Series. People come to me because they're wounded. Many are scared, and even there are those who are bruised simply because they feel that they are increasingly, for whatever reason, losing their ability to dream. Now, this P3 program is not for a person who's just looking to start a business, no, but rather for those of you out there who have been on your journey and you've been navigating within your divine purpose, but you still desire to elevate to that level that you have not reached yet. If this is appealing, if this describes you, then I want to have a chat with you. I want to hear your story. So use the link below to get registered for your free seat at P3, the Journey Series. And let's get started, one story at a time. I'll see you inside. Click the link.
Before you get it, baby, show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine. Boy, I'm standing right here holding up a sign, shamelessly displaying my state of mind. You walk right past me, pretending like you don't see what's yours for the taking tonight.
It's time, it's time. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. How long can I hold it? Not very long. I'm excited. It is a wonderful day to be alive. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Can I get an amen? I'm just going to say, there it is. Good morning, everybody. Happy holidays and all of that. Welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments, and I'm your host, Dr. Lauren. And boy, I'm having it's something. I see why animals hibernate. How are we going to say hibernate? Hibernate because when the winter time comes and it's nice and frosty and outside and toasty inside, I go to bed and I don't want to get up. I just want to lay there. Anybody know what that feels like? I think so. Gonna get an amen, right? But we're here. And now let me just say this as we get started today, why this is so important, even if it's through the replay or whatever. There's a wonderful promise that guarantees that when two or more of us comes together and we have that same mindset, heart set, that soul set, that desire to be of service to each other, to ease suffering in this world. When we come together with that in mind, that agreement, if you will, it's not only just fellowship, but it also enacts that promise, and spiritual magic is the outcome. So that's the main reason I do what I do. So here we are. Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo is in the house. Here she is, but she's empty right now because I'm waiting, because I'm drinking tea. I have my coffee. Don't get it twisted, but I am easing my way to at least starting to have half the amount of coffee and drink a nice green tea instead. And so little shifts, big changes, right? Okay, there we go. And it's really good. I'm on my second big bag that I ordered. I'm going to be completely transparent. This guy right here, where I'm going this weekend, on the right, Sanjeev Chopra, Deepak Chopra's brother. I was with Sanjeev, and I just said, I'm done. I said something about, this is my last cigarette. I meant in that box. And I just said, no, I think it's just my last one. Threw it all away, threw the lighter away. And ever since 1978, I have been smoking, and I have not even thought about it really since that day. I'm telling you, people, if you really want to get rid of things that do not serve you, all you have to do is banish them. Seriously, ask whatever you believe is greater than you to assist, and show whatever it is to the door. And trust me, that's what happened with me. I wish I'd have done it a long time ago, but better late than never. So there it is. And I'm excited to be going to Boston, like I said, this weekend, going there to hang out with the Chopras for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, come back Tuesday, 5 days of intense training of transcendental meditation training. And God told me this year coming up for me to really concentrate on raising my temple. And so I take that to mean everything that and I'm excited about it. So anyway, that's what's happening. So today, I have Elizabeth Meigs here, and I thought I'd just get started by showing you, probably be the best way. She's a speaker. She's an occupational therapist. She's a survivor. She's an inspirer. She's a lot of things, but I can show you better than I can tell you. So let me just take a look at her sizzle reel. And then I'll get her in here and we'll get this party started. How's that sound? So here we go.
I was a beautiful 14-year-old girl. I had been singing and performing for over half my life. I had plans of, as soon as I graduated high school, I was moving to Nashville to pursue my singing career and make it big on the country music. I came home from school multiple times a week for years and would tell my parents I should have died in that car accident. I wish I was dead, and I want to kill myself. I can tell you that God will use any means necessary to get you where you need to be, even. And that right there, that's what brings peace and freedom.
Ooh-wee. Oh, my goodness. So without further ado, she's never been here. She's a first timer. I don't think she's shy, but she kind of is. So put some hearts on the screen. It's our way of saying welcome. And it just feels good. And it's free and painless. Here she comes. Here comes Elizabeth. Hey, Elizabeth, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you doing this morning?
Good. I see, boy. You got your little code all up on the screen. You're ready. So listen. First of all, let's get this off the table. What is the correct pronunciation of your last name?
The I is silent. It rhymes with eggs. So it's
Meigs.
Meigs. Yes.
Okay. People probably say Meigs a lot, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah, because
Or
I was thinking
Meigs. Yeah.
Meigs. Yes. That darn I tell you. Okay, Elizabeth Meigs, welcome to the show. How you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful.
Good. Now you had I saw you last night briefly. Something was going on. Start off by telling us what that was all about.
I had my Pathway to Peace course launch party last night where I'm all set to help people who are struggling with daily challenges, whatever they're struggling with, feeling lost, trying to find their way, help them to find their own pathway to peace.
To peace. I need to introduce you to my friend Sid McNary. He's running for president in 28, but his entire platform is about peace. And so that's a word we're hearing more and more. Ironically enough, right now, with all that, we have two wars raging that we know of. What's happening in the Middle East and what's happening over in well, we already know. So let me ask you something. Well, let's get started. We saw your sizzle reel. I usually like to let the guest have a moment just to say hello to the audience, to create their own vibe. So why don't I give you a few seconds to do that? Then we're going to come back and we're going to go back in time, if we could, to get a piece of your origin story. We heard a little bit of it, but to really just sit down and walk this thing all the way through, unpack it, if you will. Is that okay?
Yep, that sounds
Okay.
great.
Okay, take a few seconds, say hello to the folks, and I'll pop back in and we'll get started.
Good morning, everybody. I'm so blessed to have this opportunity to get to share a chunk of my story with y'all. I truly believe that you are watching this for a reason. This world is constantly changing, and I'm just so blessed to have been able to develop strategies in my Pathway to Peace process and be able to share that and teach that to others. So I just feel blessed to be here and blessed with all of the opportunities that have come across my path.
Aw, thank you for that. There's the bell of purpose. Let's start with this. So, Elizabeth, what kind of work do you do today? We're going to start there, then we're going to go retroactive, go back in time. But what do you do today to make a living?
Well, I work as an occupational therapist at a hospital locally whenever they need me. I am also working on growing my inspirational speaking business, creating my course so that I can do some group coaching to help people who are just struggling to find their way, to get back on track and truly live the life that they deserve.
How did you come to the place where you wanted to do this work in occupational therapy?
Well,
What inspired you?
I was severely injured in a car accident 23 years ago at the age of 14, and I suffered a traumatic brain injury. So I was placed in a drug-induced coma for nearly 3 weeks to give my brain and my body the best chance of survival. Once I came out of the coma, I was reduced to that of an infant. So I had to rely on someone to help me with absolutely everything.
Mhm.
And it was a long time, weeks of getting stronger, relearning to walk, relearning to take care of myself again. So I can closely relate to what people are going through on the
So,
subacute rehab unit.
did you have clearly, I'm sure you had an occupational therapist of your own or a few.
Yes.
How many
Yes.
did you go through over the years? Do you remember?
Oh, Lord. I worked with a couple different ones in the rehab unit, and then once I was discharged, I went to outpatient where I would work with uh, up to 3 different therapists.
So is that where you were really
Outpatient.
introduced into the world of occupational therapy? Through the ones that
Yeah.
Well, the reason I was going that way, I kind of had a feeling, was how we end up in those places, those intersections that shape who we become. Because I know your backstory, and I know that, and we heard in the sizzle reel that you were a 14-year-old girl who had dreams of singing, and being on the stage in Nashville and pursuing your career in country music. But here you are, nonetheless, today as Elizabeth Meigs, the occupational therapist, inspirational speaker. So, did one or all of those occupational therapists have do something that made you say, you know what, I want to help people through this too? Because I have a feeling that is a real calling, not just a job.
Yeah, it's definitely a calling. I always knew I had a purpose, and that purpose was to be able to help others struggling, going through the same recovery that I had gone through. But honestly, once I got through 2 years of junior college, I wasn't sure what to major in. So I would transfer to university where I would end up changing my major 4 times, going to school for a total of 8 years before finally graduating with an associate's degree in occupational therapy.
Wow. So what
So
was it? Was it you wanting to do something that didn't want to do you? Was it what I refer to as the Jonah effect? Like Jonah in the Bible was told to go to Nineveh and he went the opposite direction, but he got swallowed up and spit up on the sand, the place he was supposed to go in the first place. So was it kind of the Jonah syndrome? Like you were like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to do this. Or were you just finding your way?
just trying to find my way. When I transferred to university initially, I was majoring in rehab counseling. I thought that I would be able to work with traumatic brain injury um, in the state of Kansas with a rehab counseling degree. But after 2.5 years of doing that degree, I realized in the state of Kansas it was going to be drug and alcohol abuse counseling. And that wasn't really what I wanted to do. I lost my dad at that 2.5 year mark in January of 2008. And
Okay.
that's kind of when I realized I was a bit lost and trying to find my way. Went through a period over the next 4 to 5 months after losing him to just try to figure it out.
Yeah.
I, so
What is it about occupational therapy? What kind of you see people that have traditionally what kind of situations? Accidents, traumatic accidents, or fall? What kind of person? What kind of give us a couple examples of, you know, the kind of people you work with, and what does an occupational therapist actually do? Some people may not.
well, yeah, I get so many times. It really depends on the setting that you work in. My love is subacute rehab because in a subacute rehab unit, I can work with patients who've suffered a stroke. I can work with patients who've suffered traumatic brain injury, hip replacement, knee replacement, had falls, general debility, all of the above. It's so funny because many people do not know what occupational therapy is.
I
And
know.
I will walk into a room, ma'am, I don't need occupational therapy. I'm retired. And
Oh, they think it's about getting a job.
yeah, they think it's about getting a job. And I'm
That's
like,
funny.
and so I have to educate that occupational therapists actually get you back to enjoying your hobbies, being able to dress yourself independently, bathe yourself. After you've suffered a stroke, you may have one side affected, you may have lost all motor control, and you really have to relearn new techniques for being able to do all of your activities of daily living, which is dressing, bathing, taking yourself to the bathroom, cooking, cleaning, doing the hobbies that you enjoy. That's one of the areas that I truly love, being able to think outside the box. And if it's someone who likes to go fishing, how can we, now that their left arm doesn't work the best, how can we get them back to fishing
To
or
fishing.
whatever their hobbies are?
Do you find I just love this. Let's stay on this road for just a moment. Because a lot of us we move along, we're pedaling along, at a rapid rate, day in and day out, never giving a thought to, and who would that, oh, the situation may come where one day I need, to learn. What do you find? Oh, I just can't imagine that, the things that we don't even have to think about, we just take them for granted and do it.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, they're snatched away. What is it as far as the mental and the spiritual part that you find? Because I would imagine there's some very angry people. I don't want to live. What kind of life is this gonna be? And you come in one of the first people after they have been out of ICU and gotten to the point where, okay, it's time to step back into living. Not all of them most likely want to step. That just leave me. Just let me stay here. I would imagine. Talk about that aspect and how you use your divine gifts and your experience with your traumatic brain injury and that horrible accident, to help others get past it, and then go back and you can tell us what it was like when that person was you.
Uh, God always places me in the patient's rooms that I need to be in.
Mm,
I'm just amazed, especially since the last 3 years of my life, I have been working not full time. I've just been working when they need me. So I don't create my schedule, I don't pick my patients, that's picked for me. One time within the last 3 years, I worked with a younger individual who had suffered a traumatic accident, very lost, very angry, refusing a lot, and I had a space in my schedule open up. So I went into this patient's room and told them about me because our stories were very similar. Not exactly, different
right,
injuries, all of
right,
that,
right.
but very similar. And I just shared how lost I was, and that individual asked me how I found my way. And that's when I spoke to them about God. I
Mm.
said the power of prayer. That individual looked at me, tearing up, and said, I don't know how to pray. And I said, well,
Aw.
you know what? God just wants you to turn to Him, and wants you to tell Him what's on your heart. He knows what's on your heart, but it's when you choose to turn to Him and give it to Him and ask Him for the help. That's all He wants. Is for you to choose Him, turn to Him, and ask Him for help to lead you and guide you.
Did you have a personal relationship, Elizabeth, when it was you in that bed? Or did it happen as a result of you finding yourself in that bed?
I always went to church before the accident. I was raised in the church in the spring of my 8th grade year, 4 to 5 months before the accident happened. Did my I can't think of what it is. I was raised Methodist, where the 14-year-olds commit themselves to God and all of that. I can't remember the name of it, of the class that I took with the minister, but there was a group of us
Okay.
who did our, I just can't think of the
Yeah,
word
it's like when
right
the
now.
Catholic girls and boys go through their confirmation ceremony.
Confirmation, yes. Yeah, confirmation classes. That's what it was. I knew it started with a C, but it wasn't
Okay.
coming to me. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's what I did, the confirmation classes.
And these are
I
things
didn't,
though that we're grown up. We grow. Here. You're going to that class.
yeah,
That's kind of
yeah,
different. But when you were in that bed, no one was telling you now pray to him. Now do
yeah,
this,
no,
Elizabeth. It was
no,
you and the machines, pretty much.
yeah.
And so, can
Um,
you tell us how that that personal experience began? Not the one that your parents made you do or the
Right.
classes taught you about.
Right.
But
Right.
when you were there and you were like, I don't know if I can do this. I just don't know.
Well, when I was in my coma, my brain started swelling rapidly 24 hours in after they were able to get me stable. It was in the middle of the night on Sunday, uh, August 27th. The doctors had given me less than 25% survival rate, and my parents were told that this was likely the end. Um, there was a Calvary Baptist minister in the pediatric ICU unit that night that offered to pray with my family. It was within this prayer that my mom felt a weight lifted off of her shoulders, and she knew that I was going to survive. Approximately 1 hour after that prayer was done, doctors were able to get me stable, and the brain swelling began to go back down.
Really?
They were able to keep me stable for the 3 weeks. The brain swelling continued to diminish. I was able to come off the ventilator at 2.5 weeks. Now, when I was in the rehab setting for the 3 months of before I got back home, I didn't see the true difficulty. I was concentrating on my rehab and getting back to caring for myself again. I didn't see the hard, most difficult times that I would ever see yet. It
Yeah.
wasn't until I got back into school and I realized, wow, I'm no longer that same girl. It was 43 days before I could speak. It was months before I could speak in full sentences without my voice breaking out due to the ventilator. That was heartbreaking because I was known for my voice before. Now I can't even talk.
Right.
I dealt with judgment. I felt like my friends' lives had gone on and they didn't care if I was around or not. They didn't have time for me. But honestly, they had no idea what I was dealing with on the inside. I would come home from school multiple days a week and tell my parents I should have died. I wish I was dead. I want to kill myself. It was in these moments that a voice came over my heart that brought me an enormous amount of comfort and peace, a comfort and peace that I had never experienced in my life, saying, I have a plan for you. You can't stop. You have to keep going. I knew that it was my higher power, God, saying that He had a plan for me. And I knew in those moments that I had a purpose, that I couldn't stop. I
Right.
couldn't give up
Right.
because there was going to be people that I needed to help.
Let's
So,
let's go to I get it. And I think all of us in some way or another, not well, I don't know. That's hard to say. But I mean, okay, I didn't have a horrible accident like you did, but I had my stuff. You know what I mean? I had my addiction and I had my homelessness and I had the years in foster care and all that came with that. And so I when I interview people, I like to get to those places that get missed a lot when we have these types of interviews with people like yourself. And because it's all about, well, here I am today, this and the other. But I always like to go back because inside those moments when in between where you really struggled, where, I mean, it's what I'm trying to get to is those days, weeks, months where you felt like where you meant what you said to your parents about, I don't want to live. I wish I would have died.
mhm,
It's not over once the words are out of your mouth. You then proceed to go to your room or you go wherever and you live inside that neighborhood. And
yep,
it's like when you're a little kid and Christmas seems to take forever to come. A day feels like a month feels like a year, because I cannot imagine what it is like to think to myself, pick up that mug, but your body won't cooperate. You are willing things. Talk about that as you discovered bit by bit, piece by piece, thing by thing, task by task, the things that you thought, okay, I would think it would be in stages, Elizabeth, where first you'd go, okay, I can't do it now, but I'm going to. And then a certain sector of things, never came back, and you had to deal with the realization, okay, this came back. When's this coming back? Oh, that's never coming back. I mean, because you're putting together, it's like you're a Lego. You're putting together the pieces, and you don't know what it's going to look, feel like, or be like when all the pieces are put together, if they can all be put together. Could you shed a little light on how it was when you were all alone, when, people come in, oh, great job. But then they go on about, okay, well, I got to go and take the car in and then do some grocery shopping, honey. You're going to be okay. And there you are back there sitting there in that wheelchair.
I didn't have anybody in my life that knew what I was going through,
I
had
imagine not.
experienced what I was going through, and that was the hardest thing. I would feel so lost and alone. I would ask God, why? Why did this happen? Why did you do this to me? What did I do to deserve this? All along knowing, because that voice came over my heart, that God didn't do this to me, that life happens.
Mhm.
Worldly circumstances happen to you. God doesn't put those into play. They happen to you, but He was always right there by my side to pick me up and carry me through those low points because I chose Him and turned to Him and asked Him to. So many times I wanted to give up, and when I wasn't able to fall asleep because something horrible had happened that day that left me feeling empty, I would cry myself to sleep just talking to God, just talking to Him, letting Him know what I wanted. I knew that I had a purpose and that was on my heart, begging Him, please just let me know what that purpose is, let me know. But I realized wanting it in my time, I wasn't ready.
Mhm.
Everything is much more perfect in His time. Because I
Correct.
needed to grow, I needed to learn more, and I'm just blessed that I was able to choose to make each day better than the last.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell us, let's go to the point, because kids can be cruel. And I know, excuse me, you mentioned how you went back to school. How so you were in what grade? 8th grade when this happened?
It was 1 week into my freshman year of high school.
And then how far into the school year did you return?
Thanksgiving, after Thanksgiving break, so I missed a full 3 months of school.
And when you went back, so you have to catch up. You've got these, were you able to step right back into the classes that you had, with your peers and this and the other? Did you have to go to special classes? What was it like, your circle of friends and maneuvering around those hallways and the looks?
I
Let's talk about the looks too. Like there she is. That's the girl. You know, da, 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 da. How could you not have seen and felt all that? And how long did that last, Elizabeth?
So high school, I was raised in a rural town, so everybody knew everybody. Everybody knew the accident. My friends were always there for me. They would come and visit when I was in the hospital. They came and visited twice when I was in the pediatric ICU unit and then when I was in the subacute rehab unit
Mhm.
to let me know that they were all there for me. It was back in school that schoolwork was so much more difficult. I didn't have to catch back up with all of my classes from that first semester. I only had to do the required, like English, world history, and algebra. And then I got a pass on the others that I
Okay.
would then pick up the second semester and get back into all those other classes.
Right.
So we had to hire tutors to help me. My mom had to read everything to me if I was to remember it because, of course, a brain injury. It took years for me to fully recover that
Now,
side.
let me ask you, did when you went back to school and you started studying, like, because you were a smart girl, this and the other, Could you tell that something was different when you were processing your homework and whatnot? Thinking your way through equations and answering questions. What was that like? I heard someone tell me it felt like where they used to, you know, swim straight across. Now they were dragging themselves through muck and what's that stuff? It's quicksand. It was like,
Yeah, it was hard. It was hard. Tutors that helped me stay caught up, keep me caught up. Algebra was so much more difficult.
it's difficult anyway.
Yeah. My
Right.
brain doesn't work with math anymore. Uh, just very difficult. All of the classwork, going to therapy after school every day of the week for years.
Which
Try
was
to
more difficult for you? The classwork as far as the school world goes? Was it the classwork or was it the social life or lack thereof? Did you have a social life? What was that like for a young girl? I mean, everybody's going to parties and dances and,
Yeah.
football games and things like that. What was that like, especially when it came time for people to start dating?
I didn't really have a social life after. It was very difficult. And before the accident, I had a social life. I was one of the most popular girls in my class. I was cheerleader. Known for my voice, everyone wanted to be my friend. I always had a boyfriend. Afterwards, it was a brand new beginning for me. I had
Wow.
no social life. I had my parents, my brother, and my sister in law. The outsiders who didn't know of the accident or didn't know me before, that's where I would get the judgment. That was hard because my left arm was pulled up like this for years due to muscle tone, and it would take me years to be able to extend my arm and open my hand without prying my fingers open. So that was difficult. But God blessed me because after the accident, once I got my voice back and was able to speak, my voice teacher, who I'd been working with for over 7 years, reached out to my mom. She had quit giving voice lessons, but she reached out to my mom and said, once Beth is doing better and she's got her voice back, I want to work with her pro bono to help her get back to singing. Now, my voice wasn't as effortless as it was before the accident. I was no longer that soprano that could belt it out and everyone hear me with a mic or no mic. I didn't have my natural vibrato anymore. But once I got back into singing and performing on a stage, people saw something that I was good at instead of my physical deficits. So people who didn't know of the accident, they would see me performing on a stage. They would be like, "Oh wow, she's got a beautiful singing voice." That's what would get me through high school, is being able to perform and sing and just continue on like that. That got me through high school and community college.
I know, I'm sorry, I froze there for a minute. I kind of I relate somewhat, not nearly on the level of which you've had to experience it, but I too have a background in music. I have an album out. If you Google me, you'll find it. But after COVID, I lost my voice for over a year. I mean, and still it's not completely back, but I'm grateful for just being able to speak, because it was not like this. And I know I struggled and still do. It was just my husband and I were joking about it yesterday, as a matter of fact, because we play nothing but Christmas music is allowed right now, and well, since Thanksgiving, and I was able to sing along and really not be like Barry White. I was up kind of in my range. Things were cracking. I wasn't able to hit things. I can't do the acrobatics with my vibrato and whatnot like I could before. So I totally get what you were saying. But yesterday was the closest to the old me that I've seen in a long, long time. Now, I'm said all that to say this to you, because in your video, and I've seen a lot of your assets, you're playing the guitar, you're doing these things. Are you able to play the guitar? now? And do you attempt to sing? Do you sing? And what was it like when you would hear recordings of yourself? And, all of those things that you wonder, okay, I don't want to hear that because I can't be that. I can't do that anymore. Or do you listen to it like, I'm going to get back to that one day, no matter what? Talk about that road, because there's so many roads you've had to deal with, and not any of them were comfortable, but they were necessary. Talk about this particular piece if you could.
So throughout high school, my goal and my dream was still singing. Once I got back to performing and stuff, I didn't know what my plan was.
Oh, you
I
got back to
knew,
performing?
yeah, I did get back to performing. I actually got to where I would do a few different shows and stuff at our Altoona days. I would sing on the trailer on the street, where I would do hour-long shows throughout high school in the summer. So yeah, I did get back to performing and participating in talent shows, but see, my neck muscles were affected by the brain injury, so that's what inhibited my effortless singing. It wasn't
Yeah,
effortless anymore. I
right.
had to work at it.
I
But
find that very frustrating myself, where you just used to could just and just do it. Now
yeah,
it's like, I get it. What goes through your spirit? What goes through your spirit? I didn't say your mind, but what goes through your mind? What goes through your spirit, Elizabeth? Um, when you compare the Beth of then and the Elizabeth Beth of today, um, what what sits within your soul when you compare those two girls, those two women?
well, I was recently asked in a podcast interview in the last few months if I would go back and change everything. If I could stop the accident from happening, if I could stop the unhealthy marriage that got me lost again from happening, would I? My answer was no, because I my life is so much more rewarding now with
Mm,
what I'm doing and my ability to help than it ever would have been had I made it to Nashville, making it big on the country music stage. I wouldn't have had the insight, I wouldn't have the depth, I wouldn't have the knowledge, the wisdom to be able to help people who are struggling like I do now. That's where my heart is. Everything happens for a reason. I'm stronger, I'm much more resilient, I'm more confident. I believe in my purpose, confident in my purpose. Had the last 23 years of my life not happened, I wouldn't have any of that.
right. What is the thing you love most in your life today?
Being able to wake up every morning and having the gift of seeing when people are struggling, being able to give them the encouragement, knowing the words that they need to hear, to
Yeah.
encourage them and lift them up and give them hope and inspire them to keep going each day. That is what I love most about my life.
Amen. Amen. Let's talk about this piece. I don't remember asking you this. The mental health piece. Because you go through physical therapy, you go through occupational therapy, and then there's mental therapy. Um, uh, let's talk about that. Um, how has that been? Well, you know what triggered me to ask that question? I was thinking, I wonder what it's like, because I got hit by a semi once, right? And I mean, I wasn't hurt or anything, but it took me 2 years before I would go back on the highway. I took side streets and stuff because it was so quick, it was so fast. The sound of the metal and all of that, it's not like anything. And I was scared. I was like paranoid. Let's put it that way, paranoid. And every time I saw an accident, I was back to my own. What is that like even today for you when you come upon an accident? Does it take you back to that day, or does that move on?
I don't have any memory of the car accident of that day at all.
Really? Not even before the accident, like in the car? Here we go. We're going to blankety blank.
I don't have memory of probably the 3 months prior to the car accident happening.
No.
I was me and my best friend went on a week-long trail ride at her uncle's. I don't remember any of that.
So an
So
entire quarter of your year just erased.
back February of 2000, I was a bridesmaid in my brother and sister-in-law's wedding. I sang at their wedding. I vaguely remember that. I remember some of the wedding reception, not a strong memory of it.
So wait, are you saying that it's an ongoing thing where there'll be lapses of memories because of the brain injury?
Yeah, the brain injury, much of 2000, I don't I don't before the accident, I don't really remember. Now, 8th grade year and prior to that, I do have memories playing the sports, singing, performing, talent shows, all
What
of
about
that.
okay. So what about when they show you pictures of the blank space? What does that feel like? You're
Pictures of the blank space. What do
like
you
when
mean?
you see pictures of what you don't have a memory of. Well, of
Oh,
course you went on the ride,
right,
the trail ride. Here's a picture of you on the horse,
right.
but you
Yeah,
don't remember any of it.
uh-uh.
What is that
Yeah.
like to look at the proof? But
No,
wow.
just just
I
a
mean,
fact of life. Yeah, no,
is that something though? Is it hard to accept when you're in your mind, when you're looking at it, but it means nothing and you go, okay, I don't even remember that outfit. Is that
well,
hard? Is that hard?
it was hard to accept early on. It isn't anymore
It
because
isn't
I've learned
anymore.
how to let it go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your inspirational speaking, and then we're gonna talk about the course a little bit. Um, so pathway to peace. So why did you name it this?
Because in reflecting on the last 3 years when I was found myself lost, living in constant chaos and confusion, I came to the realization that when I got married and moved from Waco to Dallas, I lost my peace. I lost my inner peace. I had tried to stray and go my own way instead of trusting, keeping my faith in God and following Him. But God was there by my side to protect me. Everything in my life has happened for a reason. I can see back to 2017 and 2018 people that He placed in my life to help me to believe in myself, for my confidence to grow. Had none of that happened, I would not have been able to survive my marriage.
What do you mean
When
by that? And let's talk about that because I've seen your way. I'm gonna just tell you, were one gorgeous bride. That dress, oh my goodness, that dress was awesome. And boy, you were wearing it. I'm just gonna say, and you know what? I had heard Christina told me, when we were talking about your scissor reel, that your marriage had ended, and I didn't know because, of course, we didn't talk about that. But still, I'm just gonna keep it real with you because she was like, well, I don't know why she had the picture. I do because it wasn't just the marriage you were beaming from. It was the fact that you got to a certain milestone, is what I felt.
Mhm.
That, you know what, no matter what, I have this moment. And your girls, your beautiful girls that were around you, your bridesmaids and stuff, I got it. I saw it. I really did. I just want you to know that. But I wanted to ask you this. Tell us a little bit about, so what do you think? When you said this marriage is when it took you to where you lost your peace, but it must have been necessary. Talk about what you were looking for, what you thought you would find, but what it actually helped you to find.
So I thought I had found my life partner, someone that would support me in chasing after my dreams and making them a reality. But what I discovered was my teammate never really saw me, never valued me, never appreciated what I was going after in my dreams. I would be told that it wasn't a reality. That no one would ever pay me to share my story, that I would never have any financial security through speaking at all. The only financial security I would ever have would be through occupational therapy. But God continued to open doors to push me into the speaking realm, to help me to grow in that way so that I could help so many more people. And I'm just blessed that his voice was always so much stronger than my ex husband's ever was. God used someone from my past that he brought into my life in 2017 that truly always saw my heart, always valued me, appreciated me, encouraged me. And over the course of 2017 and 2018, this friend would frequently tell me that he saw the beautiful person I was and he wouldn't let me forget it. I realize now that's what helped me to believe in myself more, believe in my purpose, grow my confidence for my purpose. God protected me by, even though I hadn't seen that person in over 3.5 years, hadn't been actually in each other's life in probably over 4.5 years.
Yeah.
He had been on my heart the beginning of January of this year. I didn't know why. I had no way of finding out how he was doing, so I started praying for him. The end of March, after I had had the opportunity to get my purpose on, one of my bridesmaids reached out to me and said that he reached out to her asking how I was doing. My concern for him increased. I didn't know what he was going through, but I had a feeling he must have been going through something. So I started praying for him harder. Then Monday, April 3rd, when I told my husband about a scholarship I had been chosen for to do a 4-month coaching program to help me to get my speaking business to where I could promote it and be able to figure out how to get sponsors and stuff so that I could
Yes.
start to do that on a much bigger level. When I told him about that scholarship, his response to me was, "Until I see in writing there are no fees involved with this, you're not allowed to do it." Not allowed to do it. I immediately started crying, and he looked at me with a glare and said, "Why are you crying?" in a nasty tone of voice. And I said, "Because this is who I am. This is what God has called me to do. And now that He's opening the doors for me to do it, you're telling me that I can't." And he said it was due to his insecurities. He said, "I'm just looking out for us." I knew in that moment why God spoke to me in 2017 about bringing me and my friend together to bring us both closer to Him. I realized that He was going to use this friend to get me back where I needed to be, back where I belonged, to where I could find my peace again. Within 4 days, God made a way for me to escape, get back to Waco where I belonged. And once He did that, I found my peace that I had lost for over 2.5 years.
Wow. Right. God didn't bring you through that horrible accident just for you to get lost inside of your own relationship. I get it. I get it.
Now I have the wisdom and the knowledge. I'm no longer ashamed. I know that I am enough. I know I am worthy to go out and chase the dreams on my heart. So he has given me all of this wisdom and knowledge so that I can help other women, other people who are told that they aren't enough and they will never be enough. That is a
Mm,
lie. That is a
mm.
lie.
See, I'm just so proud of you. I said that last night. I say it again today, and I'll keep saying it. And I'll tell you this: that guy had it all wrong. He had it all wrong. You watch what I tell you. It won't be long. You're going to move a lot of things, and you're going to move things out of your way to get to the people that are waiting for you. God doesn't do anything without there being a specific reason, and there are never mistakes. That's just the universe's way of keeping our journeys interesting. And so, I get it. I get it. I'm so proud of you. Tell us, right there is Elizabeth inspires.com, which is the website. We also have this for you right here if you want to go over and check her out on YouTube. Elizabeth, tell us, we got 1 minute left. Tell us a little bit about the course, who it's for, and how they can find you to talk about the possibility of working with you.
So the course is for people who are lost, stuck, trying to find their way, feeling like they have no hope, that the doors and the possibilities, opportunities aren't anywhere around. They see negativity, having problems focusing and seeing positive in their life at all. See, these strategies, this process that I developed helped me to be able to be more open, shift my mindset to seeing positive all around me so I could see the doors to opportunities. Go to
Mm,
Elizabeth Inspires. There's a tab called Pathway to Peace Process where you
mm-hmm.
can read more about it. Click on the register here button or register now. That will take you to a page where you can read more about the course. There's also a booking link at the bottom of that page where you can set up a call with me if you have questions. And then you can also enroll now. Um, I am doing a special course launch coupon code.
Okay.
This course will be available to enroll until December 27th. It starts this Friday on December 15th, but I'm allowing, since this is the first time going, I'm going to allow enrollments through the
All the way.
27th of December. Yep.
Okay. All right. Awesome. What a wonderful Christmas present for you to give the rest of us. Thank you so much. Listen, I wish you only the best, and that's what you deserve. And keep going, keep growing, keep showing others how to get to what you have. And if there's anything we can ever do from our side of the table, you know, all you have to do is call. Okay. Please say you'll come back next year to give us an update on how wonderful things are
Yes.
going in your life, because I know that's going to be a great joy report, and I can't wait to hear it.
Yes. Thank you, Lauren, so much for having me on and letting me share my message and share about my course launch. And I'm just so excited to be able to help as many people as I
I
can
feel
to
you. I
find
get it.
to regain their life the same way I've regained mine.
Absolutely. It's so worth it. I wouldn't change a thing either. I get it. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. You guys, Elizabeth Inspires. There it is on the screen. And wait a minute. You guys, give us a second. Okay, I guess that's our cue to say goodbye. But before we do, let me say thank you. Keep going. Have the best Christmas ever. Love you. And you guys get out of here. I'll see you, God willing, tomorrow morning over on the front porch at 8 a.m. Central, where we will again have this opportunity for another illuminated conversation. My guest tomorrow, Milan Lufkic is here. He's an attorney. I met him when I was out speaking in San Diego back in September. You're going to love this guy, and you'll be glad you showed up. I'll see you tomorrow. Get out and find your highest self today. And as always, in closing, I tell you that I love you. And there's not a damn thing you can do about it. I didn't want to cuss in front of you. So, but they're going to be like, why'd he change it? Hypocrite. Anyway, thank you so much, you guys. Have the best day ever. I'll see you tomorrow. Elizabeth, great job. Great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.